From the heart of Yerevan to all corners of the world, this is CivilNet's Daily News Digest for Monday, September 30th. I'm Maria Titizian.
And I'm Paul Chaderjian. Here are today's headlines. A multi-million-dollar project to improve border crossings with Georgia.
Plus, what are the European Union's plans for Armenia now?
And the historic Congress of Bishops concludes with a vote on the victims of the genocide.
Later, ensuring modern eye care for every Armenian.
3 border checkpoints between Armenia and Georgia are about to be rebuilt. On Friday, President Sarkisian, Ambassador Traian Hristia, head of the EU delegation to Armenia, Bradley Buseto, UN and UNDP resident representative of Armenia, and other dignitaries participated in the groundbreaking ceremony at Bagradashen. 2 other checkpoints at Bavra and Gogovan are also part of the $74.5 million project. The funds are coming as grants and loans from the United Nations Development Program and the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. The EU and UN stress that efficient and effective border management contribute not only to secure borders, but also to the smooth movement of people and goods across borders.
So it helps not just Armenia, but also, of course, Georgia, but also important for the government. It's a matter of security as well. So it hits a lot of areas that are really fundamental importance for the world.
At the groundbreaking ceremony of the Bagradashen border crossing point, Ambassador Traian Hristia, head of the EU delegation, said improved checkpoints increase regional and international trade and transit, and he says these are key prerequisites for economic growth and poverty reduction.
CivilNet asked Ambassador Traian Hristia about Armenia's decision to sign the Russian-led customs union, effectively scuttling hopes for closer European integration in the foreseeable future. Ambassador Hristia said that the government of Armenia has requested that the EU continue its ongoing programs in the country.
Well, I have to tell you that as we became aware about this statement as of 3rd of September, one of the main requests by the Armenian authorities is to continue to provide support in the reform process. And as I said a little bit earlier, in all the fields that we can engage our bilateral relations and that could bring additional development which will not be detrimental to the commitments under the customs union. Continuation of the reforms, promotion of human rights, democracy, rule of law, fight against corruption, mobility, and sectoral cooperation will remain issues on our agenda.
Find out what the ambassador said about whether the EU will try to exert the same level of efforts towards the democratization of this country by watching Paul's full report. You can find it on civilnet.am or by following the YouTube link in your screen.
Archbishops and bishops from the Mother See and the Holy See of Cilicia gathered at the historic Bishop Synod last week. It was the first such congregation in 600 years, and it was attended by 2 Catholici and the co-patriarch of Istanbul. The newly elected patriarch of Jerusalem was absent. On the table were a wide range of issues relating to the Armenian Apostolic Church. Following the 4-day council, the Synod issued a press release with an overview of the discussions and decisions taken. The bishops decided to canonize the 1.5 million martyrs of the Armenian genocide. The Study for Sainthood Committee will develop rules and procedures for the process of canonization. The next Bishop Synod will take place in the autumn of 2014.
On Friday, September 27, the special committee set up by Mayor Daro Markaryan to study the possibility of raising bus fares conducted its first meeting at City Hall. CivilNet carried the proceedings of the committee live. The first meeting of the Commission discussed a variety of issues dealing with public transport, including the possibility of introducing electronic payment methods, uniforms for all drivers, and determining the overall criteria of decisions to be taken in the future.
Over the weekend, hundreds gathered for the unveiling of a monument honoring Armenian Lieutenant Gurkan Markaryan. Markaryan was murdered in his sleep by Azerbaijani officer Ramil Safarov in 2004 in Budapest. The 2 were participating in a 3-month English language course as part of NATO's Partnership for Peace program. Safarov was sentenced to life imprisonment in Hungary, but was transferred to Azerbaijan in 2012. Under an extradition agreement, Azerbaijan formally pledged that the life sentence handed down to Safarov in Hungary would continue when he was returned to his homeland. Upon arrival in Baku, however, Safarov was immediately pardoned and awarded a Hero's Medal by the Azerbaijani government and promised a lifetime of state benefits. Armenian President Sarkisian announced the same day that Armenia would suspend diplomatic relations with Hungary. Markaryan's mother and Baroness Caroline Cox unveiled the monument.
Vahan Hovanesyan, a member of parliament of the opposition ARF Tashnaksutyun faction, will most likely be appointed Armenia's ambassador to Germany. On September 27, he invited a select few media outlets for a press briefing to discuss his possible appointment. He said that he has agreed in principle to the posting because he believes that while Armenia was not left with much choice but to sign the Russian-led customs union due to geopolitical reasons, Armenia's European integration process must continue. You can watch Arpi Maksudian's report on civilnet.am.
Meanwhile, two other diplomatic assignments to tell you about. The Republic has appointed Armen Sarkisyan as its ambassador to the United Kingdom. Sarkisyan was Armenia's prime minister and served in that post from November 1996 to March 1997. And businessman Sergei Sarkisov has been assigned to be the new consul general in Los Angeles. The Moscow-based businessman, worth about $1.5 billion, replaced outgoing Consul General Grigor Hovanesyan, who is set to be the Republic's ambassador to Mexico.
Stefan Dion, a member of parliament from Canada, was in Armenia and Artsakh last week on a fact-finding mission. The objective of his visit was to become acquainted with Armenia and also understand the situation of the Syrian Armenians who have fled war-torn Syria. His visit to NKR prompted a swift reaction by the Azerbaijanis. At a press conference late last week, Dion said that his visit was not meant to create hostilities between Canada and Azerbaijan. The parliamentarian said, quote, "During my visit, the Azerbaijanis contacted my office and complained that I had paid a visit to Artsakh without their permission. I find the efforts of Azerbaijan to deprive the people of Artsakh from the opportunity to establish relations with the external world illogical." And he added that he didn't even know that Azerbaijan had blacklisted all those dignitaries who had visited NKR.
The Armenian Educational Foundation held its annual banquet at the Ani Hotel in Yerevan last week, and attending were AEF board members, volunteers, donors, and scholarship recipients.
Throughout the past 20 years, we have renovated about 180 schools. Last year, we continued on that. We added 3 more schools to that. And we also do scholarships in the U.S. and in Armenia, and also the diaspora in Lebanon.
The Armenian Educational Foundation was created more than 6 decades ago and focused on the education needs of the diaspora. It's focused in large after Armenia's independence. Watch our full report about AEF on CivilNet.
Urologists from around the world gathered in Yerevan Friday for the annual Armenian Association of Urology 2-day Congress. The meetings took place at the newly renovated Izmirlian Medical Center. The center was formerly known as Surpnerses Hospital. For the past 15 years, the Armenian Association of Urology has been organizing its annual meetings, which serve as the main educational event for urologists in Armenia. This year's Congress was dedicated to Dr. Yuri Zorabian's 75th Jubilee. Dr. Armen Muradian, director of the Izmirlian Medical Center, in his opening remarks, welcomed the participants to the Congress. He congratulated Dr. Zorabian for his many years of service to urology in Armenia and presented him with a medal. A reception followed the opening ceremony.
The founder and president of the Armenian Eye Care Project, Dr. Roger Ohanessian, was also in Armenia this past week. The Southern California ophthalmologist talked to us about his organization's successes over the past 2 decades. Since its inception, the organization has screened more than 350,000 people, performed 30,000 surgeries, and 20,000 laser procedures.
And this is what I mean, this has been so great about it, is that it's truly Armenians helping Armenians. They are the ones that we've started the ball rolling, but they've kept it going and have advanced and improved upon the situations. The doctors that we've brought over from Armenia to train in America have come back and are training others. I have brought Americans over, some consultants from Americans who are top academics, and they've, to a man, and woman, they've said how impressed they are with the doctors that are over here. One doctor said, he said, "My God, these people humble me because they're so informative. They understand, they read, and they become themselves a tremendous source of education."
The Eye Care Project was created in 1992 when Armenia's Ministry of Health reached out to the diaspora to help stop the growing wave of blindness. Since then, the organization has made its mission to provide 21st century eye care for every Armenian child and adult. That's our digest for this Friday.
We want to hear from you. Our email address is english@civilnet.am.
See you tomorrow.